I guess, experience I could have ever had to that was the first time I took a gummy and I was in a nightclub and I was talking to somebody. No, hold on.
It is the After Party Podcast.
Whee! What a party!
Yeah.
Where's the sign that says after party?
Well, we don't have an After Party Podcast sign yet.
We do. Oh, we don't.
We do, but it's not in the system, right?
Oh,
They have to reload the computers.
Well, no, but then someone should reload the computer so we can have our logo on behind it.
We should.
He's in Belize right now.
I know we have one, but
Yeah.
Hold on. There's a first world problem.
You not see that? You talk about first world problems.
Belize?
Tony Millay.
Tony
took
Millay.
Vacation.
damn.
He was on top of an erupting volcano, and then he was flying in a little puddle jumper to something in Belize. Did you see that on his story?
Good for him.
I mean, that guy spent some coin on his vacation.
good for him.
Where's our podcast logo? Hello?
Yeah, we don't have it.
Better believe it. It's not there.
Gonna have to stay with this Elvis Duran show one.
Okay, well, that'll do. Okay, so I'm going to start off today's podcast with this question. And this goes down the alley of science, so you'll love this, Gandhi.
Okay.
Does a human being know they're dead once they die?
Oh, I
I'm
have
pulling the-
heard. Yes, for a few
By the way,
seconds.
just credit is due. I'm pulling this off. Is it Quora?
Oh, Quora.
Quora.
Oh, Quora. Yes. Love them. Okay, so you have heard what?
I've heard for a few seconds after you die, you do know that you're dead. Like your brain lasts a little bit longer and knows you're dead. I don't know if that's true. Never been dead, knock on wood, but that's what I've read.
Is this mean like when they say I saw the light and I was going towards the light, but then I turned around and came back? Is that like what they're talking about, or no?
No, I think
I don't
it's
think
actual
so.
like actual death. So I've read that even if your head is severed, that it knows for a second. Oh shit!
What?
What?
Because
They
of the brain
interviewed
activity.
the head.
Yeah.
They interviewed the head. Okay,
the head
well-
said,
How you
I'm
know?
dead.
Yeah.
They have interviewed several people who actually were technically dead, and then they were revived, and they came back and said, "No, I heard the whole thing. I heard rustling around. I heard I was dead. I heard flatlining, whatever." But then they brought them back, and they said, "Yeah, I was listening. I knew." Anyway, so this person, June, on Quora, I can't say it wrong.
Quora.
She says, they do. Mine was my experience with my best friend when she passed away at around 7 p.m. I was all alone in my room reading my favorite book, and then someone knocked at the door, and I opened to find her crying in front of the door. I was like, "Erica, come in. Why are you crying?" And she said she can't come, that she came to tell me goodbye. What? I was so angry and terrified at the same time because we were best friends and we had no dispute. This has nothing to do with the fuck we're talking about.
Yeah, Quora's kind of shady. Sometimes
Yeah.
you get solid answers, but it's really like a crowd, an
It's-
open forum.
Exactly, it's
Yeah.
an open forum. So you get this question, right? You ask like, "Are you technically dead during whatever?" And then you get some Yahoo that
Yeah.
thinks they're an expert answering it, and you
Well, that
totally
doesn't-
buy into it until you realize they're full of
Some
shit.
Yahoo.
Yeah.
Okay, so screw them. Anyway, it's a great topic with or without that particular answer. I mean, I guess it's a was I dead or not debate. A lot of doctors I've heard on this topic talking about this saying, yeah, as Gandhi was saying, your brain still has some function going on. And so if they bring you back, then you can actually talk about what you heard, and they can match it up to what was noticed in that room or
so
around you
wild.
when it
All right.
happened.
That's
I know,
crazy.
but I love the severed head thing.
Yeah.
Wait a second. If I sever my head, and
Please do.
and I'm looking at my body, am I in the third person looking at my body? Like, am I looking back at it, my body? Like,
I don't know how
can
to
you
answer to
see
that.
yourself?
I think we're talking about two different things.
Oh,
Wait,
I
don't
think
they
we're
say a
talking-
chicken, if you chop off the chicken's head, it's still alive and it like runs around for a
Well,
while?
technically,
without
a
its
little
head?
bit. It does have electricity going through there, and
Right.
snakes still wiggle. But also, they say that it could be a nerve thing. But I think we're talking about two different things. One of them is brain activity continuing after you have officially died,
Yeah.
and the other one is you've already gone on to another plane and you're looking down. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Yeah,
so there's
yeah,
a
yeah.
difference between brain activity and consciousness.
Can I give you
Those are
my
separate.
perspective on this?
You've been dead several times. You may be dead right now, for all we know.
Look at me. So when I had the second stroke, and I was probably closest to death ever, I did have kind of that out-of-body experience, and let me explain this. It's not that I could see myself. I was just imagining what it looked like at that moment from the perspective of other people. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I was like hunched over a toilet in the bathroom. There was a paramedic in the bathtub trying to put an IV in my arm. I'm like sprawled out, and I'm just kind of, as I was laying there, it's not that I had an out-of-body experience, but I was picturing the scenario of what it looked like. So
How
maybe
interesting
that's what people
that-
say when they
That your mind went to that
well, because
camera
I was
angle.
thinking this is how I'm gonna die. You know, this is how it's gonna end. It's me hunched over a toilet with a guy, next to me trying to get an IV in my arm, and I'm like, this is it. You kind of think it's gonna be slightly more glamorous than that.
You were kind of like Elvis on the toilet.
Oh Lord.
I'm sorry?
I barely made it to that.
Elvis Presley, didn't they say he died on the toilet?
Well, I think he died then fell off the toilet, but he was
Yes.
on the toilet. But wait a minute. But you're saying as if there was a camera installed on the ceiling, you saw that view.
Because that's what I was thinking, well, this is how it's ending. There's me half on the toilet, the rest of my body just laying there.
Wow.
A guy with my arm trying to get an IV into it. Paramedics walking up and down the stairs. That's what I saw, And I think if I had to guess, maybe that's what people see when they say I was like I had an out-of-body experience, because I was just imagining that this is how it ends.
Well, so did they tell you that you were dead at some point?
One of the last things I remember from that was the one paramedic in the back with me. The one driving was having difficulty backing the ambulance up, and I'm kind of like going in and out of consciousness at this point. And I remember him leaning into the cab of the ambulance, going, "Let's go. We got to get him in there now." And so then I blacked out, and then I woke up on a table, and then I blacked out again, and then they were trying to put me in a CAT scan, and I didn't want medication to dull the pain, and I don't know why. I think it's because I wanted to remember my last few moments.
Wow. But did they ever tell you that you were ever dead?
So I never died. I technically never died. But it was that point where, with what I had, a subarachnoid hemorrhage, you just could go. Like, you could just be dead.
Let me ask you this.
Crazy.
Let's say that you are in that situation and they do lose a pulse for a second, then it comes back. Were you technically dead, or is that just a part? You're still alive, but you just lost your pulse for a second. How technically, what is it?
There's two things. There's clinically dead, which, if I'm not mistaken, is when your heart stops, and then biologically dead is when your brain stops functioning. I was never either of those things. Even when I had open heart surgery, they had a heart-lung machine going, so that was acting as my quote-unquote heart, even though my heart stopped. So, yeah, I don't know. I would.
This is like a Quora answer.
Yeah.
We have no answers.
This might be kind of morbid. I would love to know what that feeling is that people who have been clinically dead feel, because it is that next level out there for me. It's really morbid, but
The
By the way,
closest,
if you're listening to this podcast right now, you're hearing mouth breathing. That's scary, by the way.
Oh, is that me? I'm
Oh
sorry.
my God, he's right up on it too.
Well, no, because I'm sorry.
Here's what I'm hearing. Here is what I'm hearing. Well, I was not technically dead.
I wish you could see how close he is to that microphone.
I'm sorry. Well, actually, this is a serious.
It's like you have sleep apnea while you're awake.
It was a serious story.
But are people with sleep apnea, are they clinically dead? Because their heart
I'll
skips
tell
beats
you,
all the
right,
time.
right.
next is
Well, your
scary. You
brain is
definitely
still
died
working
2 or
now,
3
right?
times.
No, because I was hanging on every word, and it's an intense story.
know.
So my breathing gets heavier with the intensity of your story.
I'm so proud to
But
have made
not to
you
like
breathe.
reduce what happened to you, but the closest that I guess experience I could have ever had to that was the first time I took a gummy, and I was in a nightclub, and I was talking to somebody. No, hold on. But hold on. Wait, hold on. Here's what happened. Here was my out-of-body experience. This could be what happens when you die and you see yourself. My head floated off, and I saw myself. I was in the sky with my head facing facing me talking to somebody, and I'm sitting there like, what the hell is he talking about? But yet I'm in a conversation with somebody, but I didn't know this was happening.
No, you were just fucked the fuck up.
Yeah.
But isn't that what it could be like?
We don't know.
I was staring at myself. I'm like, what are you talking about, Scary? But meanwhile, I was in a conversation with somebody, but I couldn't. You understand what I'm talking about, right?
My head blew off. This is my favorite thing.
You know, and it floated away like a balloon. And I'm literally staring at myself. And I'm like, what's going on? So wait, could that be what happens when you die?
I don't know, Scary.
I don't know.
We're asking a room full of alive people. What happens when you
Tell
die?
me,
And how does
you
it
dead
feel?
people.
No idea.
We don't know, but we've heard people say that they've had the outer body experience and they see things like Nate saw from above, from the that view.
I like that it took the seriousness out of the conversation.
I'm sorry.
I have out-of-body experiences all the time without being fucked up. Just completely normally. It's not the drugs. Just walking on the treadmill or walking somewhere. I feel like I see exactly what you just said. It's not a hover, but it's just
You're aware of your
what's going
presence,
around me and exactly what it looks like to other people. But that's completely sober. It's been happening my whole life. So now
I want to go party with Scary at the club.
I'll never
What did you see
forget
last
that.
night? Well, I watched Scary having a conversation with himself because his head blew off.
I will never forget that night. I would never experience anything like that in my life.
A lot of people don't remember those experiences because they're so fucked up, but you did, and that's cool.
That was vivid.
Yeah, last time I was really tripping, my mom and dad came to visit me, and they were in black and white. I told you guys this story.
Wait, what? I never heard this story.
We were sitting. It was Christmas time where I was sitting in the living room. The Christmas tree's going.
Is
and the
this
music
true,
playing.
or were you tripping like Scary?
Well, it's real if you're tripping or not. It's what you see.
Okay.
Anyway, I wasn't really tripping, but enough. No, my mom and dad came to visit me, but they were in black and white, and my dad was in a suit with a black and white, with a black tie and a white shirt, and my mom was. It was all in black and white, and they were talking to me.
Was it nice though? Was it nice?
I think I told you about it, Gandhi. Yeah, no, it was great. It was just awesome, and it was all positive and wonderful.
Were they saying nice things?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yeah. I can't remember what they talked about, but it was. I remember it ended, and I didn't want it to end because it was so great. It was wonderful.
Aw.
I love that. I hate waking up from anything that's
great.
Yeah. Somebody visits you from the dead, and then you wake up, and you're like, damn it.
I know.
Let me go back to sleep.
Apparently, there's differences between a visit and a dream. I don't know what they are. Because my mom had
I wish
told
I
me.
did.
But there are differences, and when it's, I don't know how to tell the difference, but.
Well, but I also wonder, is it what I took, that made it happen? Or did that make me more receptive to what was going on?
Yeah.
You just don't know.
Nate thinks my dad helped save his life in the hospital. And my
Really?
dad was already gone. My dad had passed in that same hospital that Nate was in.
Yeah, because it was just a month before.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
3 weeks before.
Yeah. My dad had just passed.
And I
Look at
remember
that.
just sitting there. I mean, I was alone, and they tried to turn off every light because of what I had. Any light would just make my head pound even harder and sound. And I remember just being alone in that room at 3 a.m, and there was a chair at the foot of the bed, and I would have my eyes closed, and I would say, there's somebody in this room. And I would open my eyes, and there was nobody in the chair, and I would close my eyes, and I would just feel somebody sitting in that chair.
Wow, that is awesome.
And yeah, I told you that.
Yeah, and when he checked out of the hospital, my dad's mask card fell out of his bag.
Yeah, the bag that my mom had brought with I don't know, a book in there that I couldn't read, and it was the funeral card from Danielle's dad. It was,
wow,
I love hearing that.
Yeah. So he's like, your dad was watching me. Oh.
Something a little more important than that. Scary, did your head ever reattach to your body?
I don't remember.
We're not sure.
Is it still floating around Limelight somewhere? I don't know.
I don't remember much. I'm just saying.
Imagine Scary on a gummy. Oh my god.
But I remember that. It was so weird.
I mean, Scary's on a gummy every day of every week,
Yeah, he
so I
really
don't know.
is.
If,
I was also talking in slow motion. I was
course you
also
were.
like having a conversation with someone in slow motion, and I'm like, am I even making sense to this person right now? I was having a real conversation with somebody, but I don't remember the contents of it. And I was like, am I scared? Am I embarrassing myself right now?
Yes. And yes.
The answer is yes.
All right. Well, I think the party and after party all done.
Yeah,
I
that
think
was a
we're all
party.
done.
Scary gets the award for the most partying
Yeah.
at the party.
And Nate, that was really cool. Thank you for
Yeah.
sharing that story with us.
got it.
It was great. So everyone say ta-ta.
Ta-ta.
We'll visit you tonight while you're asleep. See you then.